Cryfall. Once home to the most wondrous kingdom the world had ever known, blasted to nothing in just a fortnight. It is here that the fiends of hell walk among us. It is here where all things die. Welcome to Cryfall. Demon invaders roam the landscape and have conquered all. The world is a ravaged and wrathful wasteland, where the old world lies buried beneath the blood and sand with its gods and its secrets. Water is fought over with blood and steel. Compatible with the 5th edition of the world's oldest fantasy role-playing game, this book contains all new character creation options, including all of the familiar classes with new aspects befitting the ravaged wastelands of Cryfall, along with new backgrounds, subclasses, spells, feats, and so much more. New races will allow you to play as the cursed Ash Elves, the Forsaken Humans, the Primordial Incarnate, the Proud Orcs, the Reptilian Suri, or the Infernal-Blooded Tieflings. New game mechanics such as blood, grit, and effort give your games an intense focus on lethality and survival. Numerous role tables full of ideas to help bring your games to life. Featuring incredible thematic art by Brandis Gilhelm of Runehammer Games, as well as Lloyd Collins. The people of Cryfall are not heroes. In Cryfall, it is courage just to survive. Will you rise to face the tide of demons, or will you succumb to the hostile elements? Available now on DriveThruRPG.com.
A mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the total monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Asimar Warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And Gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from many-terrain domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Chult of Personality. The return again, once more, the sequel. Yeah, we're back. Back at our usual time on Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m., which we're only about 15 minutes behind this week. But this is episode 29 of our campaign that has been running for pretty darn close to a year. I think we're just under a year. A weekly campaign that we squeezed 29 episodes into 52 weeks. So we're good at math like that. But yeah, we are excited to be back. Thanks, Big Bearded Nerd, Dwight, one of our All That Glitters players, for the 100 bits. Also, I'm going to give you guys credit because Big Bearded Nerd dropped 2 gifted subs into the chat before we went live, so that's going to grant you with 2 more domain dice. So, real quick, Tomb of Annihilation. This is the place to be on Sunday nights. Mark your calendars, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, and the little chime button on YouTube to be notified every week when we go live with this game. So, I'm going to tell you what domain dice are. Domain dice, as I said, you can buy them for 500 bits or $5, or a subscription does the job. The domain dice are a way you, as audience members, can have an influence, a small influence on the game by granting the players domain dice. Anytime they want to re-roll a d20, all they have to do is draw from this pool, re-roll a die and take the new roll. Or they can force me, the Dungeon Master, to re-roll one of my rolls, turning a critical hit, perhaps, into a critical failure. It's all in their hands. And right now they have 7 of these domain dice. So we have, as you can tell, we have a limited cast tonight. But that's okay. We are going to roll along as if nothing is different. And we're going to deal with some of these absences in game and reveal some exciting new changes to the Chult of Personality campaign during this session. I'm going to go ahead and let the 2 players that we do have here introduce themselves, plug what they want to plug, and then we'll get into a recap and actually start playing some D&D. So, Mike, why don't you kick us off here?
I'm going to unmute myself first because, that's a good idea. Hello, everyone. My name is Mike. I am my channel is Mike the Piper on YouTube. I also have the absolute honor of running a game on Jake's Twitch channel, a little thing called Dragon Heist. It's probably just a fad, but it's a great game. Where at least I play with another one of these awesome players. That one right down there, and of course the one over there. Hey, I actually got it right for the first time.
There you go.
I always keep it's like just do the opposite of what you'd normally do. So I'm excited to jump back into it. We've been on a bit of a hiatus, but I'm stoked to jump back and play Vale and have him die horribly. Maybe even in this session. Who knows? I mean, let's be honest. Everyone, it's like NASCAR, right? Everyone comes in here not to watch role play, but to watch one character die. It's a morbid fascination. I get it. I totally get it. So we'll see what happens. See, Jake's getting ready. He's pulling the hat down. It's like pulling up the sleeves, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna TPK."
Oh yeah,
so hard. But
so
I'm excited
hard
to play. And thank you very much to all of you who are tuning in on your Sunday night.
Thank you, Mike. Next and last, Megan.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan. I am one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, and also one half of the publishing company, which you saw that wonderful promo for Cryfoth, which is a Dungeons and Dragons supplement set in post-apocalyptic world. So if you are interested, go on to DriveThruRPG and check it out. And tonight I'm playing Bertolinia. Very excited.
And not here tonight is Marquise, a Point to Inspire, playing Dunala, the Chultan sorcerer. Nobody's really sure what Dunala is. Marquise adds an interesting bit of flavor. And then our massive turtle monk Ubo is sort of present tonight. I will be playing the part of Ubo this evening. So yeah, definitely be sure to check out everybody's channels. Follow them on Twitter. Tune in on Monday nights at 8:30 for, as Mike said, the All That Glitters Dragon Heist campaign featuring Mike as DM, myself, and Megan, and the Crafting Muse, V, as well as the big bearded nerd Dwight, who's hanging out in the Twitch chat for a little bit. And then on Thursday nights, you can catch me DMing the Sunless Citadel, also with Megan as a player, and DM Scotty, Jeremy Lilly from Erasmus Expeditions, and V, the Crafting Muse. Those are our regular games that we run right here on the channel. And Thursday nights is another. They're all great. Each game has its own unique presentation, its own unique audience and draw. So find the game that you like, or if you like them all three, come out and check them out. So, Chult of Personality. Long story short, you guys have been hired to figure out why in the heck everybody's dying and nobody can be resurrected because of a so-called death curse plaguing the realms. You were hired out of Baldur's Gate, through teleportation circle. You were brought to Chult, where you began investigating and exploring in the jungles, more or less making like Moses and wandering the jungle for 40 days and 40 nights. As you went through various trials and tribulations, not least of which was several encounters with dinosaurs, zombie dinosaurs, and your guide of nearly a month betraying you and attempting to kidnap you all in your sleep. But thanks to the astute observations of Dunala, you were saved. Eventually, you were able to make your way to Camp Vengeance, a Order of the Gauntlet establishment set up to fend off the undead in the jungles, where you were almost conscripted into service, but you were able to help them out by fighting off a massive approach of undead when Artis Cimber and his Sariel sidekick Dragonbait showed up in an airship of all things to take you out of that area, but not before Dunala basically executed Salida, the Yuan-Ti guide that had betrayed you. And the last session found all of you flying over the jungles of Chult, leaving behind the Aldani Basin, where Artis Cimber has told you that he is taking you to some friends at a monastery far to the east called Kir Sabal. Ubo was feeling a bit under the weather and seemed to everyone else's observation to not quite be himself as he watched the Aldani Basin, which housed the heart of Ubtao, a place he had been attempting to reach, recede into the distance. He disappeared below decks for a while. While there were conversations taking place and you were flying across the jungles in the night sky, you found yourselves under attack by aerial invaders, large terrafolk, slightly, very vaguely humanoid pterodactyl people that were viciously attacking the airship, attempting to take you down, basically. But they could not match up with your guys' abilities, nor the two large ballista on board the airship. You, as the last terrafolk spiraled away into the darkness, Vale had come on deck and was watching as this terrafolk spiraled down into the darkness. And there below in the jungle, you could see a glowing fire. And Vale pointed and said, Ubtao has told me that we must go there. And that is where we are going to pick up right now in the aftermath of this battle. And Vale, you have been in a sort of fugue state. You have no memory of after you boarded the airship and left Camp Vengeance behind. You started to feel an unease, and you sort of receded. Everything just kind of became foggy as you heard, almost in an abstract way, you were experiencing many of the sensations you've had when speaking with the voice of Ubtao, or interacting with, or even praying to Ubtao, the sort of forsaken god of the Chultan region. And you have just found yourself suddenly on the deck in the darkness, staring at a point of light far below, and you hear the words come out of your mouth. We have to go there. Ubtao has told me this. And right off the bat, Vale, I would like you to roll a religion check.
Alrighty. That would be a 13.
You don't remember Ubtao specifically speaking to you in even ways you've heard him in the past. It's more of a, as you come to and you hear these words come from your mouth, well, you have no memory of the last several hours. You know that what you are speaking is true. You feel that Ubtao has spoken to you and said you must go below. There is something that is drawing you to this glowing area of fire below you. What would you like to do?
I mean, I'll probably just excitedly point and get whoever's controlling the ship's attention. We have to go down there, right over there. We have to go down there, and just kind of yell at them to point.
Artist Simber himself is manning the helm. You see in various areas around the ship, of course, the crew is made up of the 3 hags that once beleaguered you on the beach early in your adventures, but have come under the service of Artist Simber, who apparently has cut out their tongues to prevent them from casting much of their spells. And the Sariel, Dragonbait, had been manning one of the ballista. Ubo is sort of in the aftermath of the battle, is just sort of looking over the edge, also where you were pointing. Dunala, also having cast some spells in the fight, is standing there as well. But it's Artist Simber up at the helm, and he just shouts down to you. He says, or calls down to you. So you've said, Vale. But for what reason is it that we must go down there?
And well, we need to go down there because Ubtao, it's like one of those, like, when you understand something, but you understand something and you know that no one else understands it. So, I'm just trying to convey that in such a way. And because Ubtao told me that we have to go down there.
Say no more, Vale. I believe you. As he begins kind of pulling back on some controls and kind of barks a couple orders to the 3 hag sisters. And they quickly are able to, you hear from the furnace that's in the middle of the ship that you've since learned contains a captive fire elemental, much to Berlinia's chagrin. The captive fire elemental that is providing the heat of the furnace and the hot air that keeps the airbag of the airship aloft, and you just hear that, and the whole ship sort of flares a little bit. And I would like Vale and Berlinia, and I'm going to have Ubo and Dunala do this as well. Since you're not really used to this, I would like dexterity checks from you.
Got a 17.
And would this be a saving throw?
Just a straight check.
Okay, that'd be 21.
So Vale and Berlinia, you easily are able to kind of hold yourself steady. Berlinia, you would feel, I imagine you would feel Ubo, maybe with his claws kind of digging into the deck a little bit. Though you were able to catch yourself, you feel Ubo's strong hands against your back, just sort of bracing you, placing himself between you and the lower end as the ship flared. Dunala has to reach out and grab hold of some of the rigging. Dunala appears not to be used to this kind of travel. As much as he seems to have enjoyed it, he just isn't used to it, and he almost goes sprawling across the deck. And I would like, as the ship rights itself, I would like perception checks from the two of you.
That is a 7. I think that Berlinia is looking at Vale very concerned, just because he seemed so out of it before, and then the hag had told Ubo that he had something evil within him, or he was fighting with something that was evil, and now he seems to be cognizant again. And so I think that's why she isn't very perceptive of anything else.
You mean Vale? You said Ubo.
I meant Vale.
Okay, I was
Yes.
just making sure.
I rolled a 14.
You would notice Berlinia looking at you with a concerned look. But you would also notice that as already the airship is beginning to descend straight down once it rights itself. You notice that Dunala, having grabbed hold of the rigging, once the ship rights itself, he starts to take a step towards you, and he's speaking to you, Vale. And you see him gesturing the way he does, and you can tell how, just that way that Dunala has about his speech. But you realize you can't hear anything he's saying.
I'll probably just look at him and I'll just kind of point to my ear. What?
And he gives you a curious look. And he says something. I would like you to give me, let's say, a religion check.
That'd be a big old 3, Haas.
So you don't know exactly what's happening to Vale, to Dunala. But as the vessel begins to descend, and you can kind of feel this in your sense of balance, your inner ear, in the pit of your stomach, you just feel this like you're moving downward, though you're standing flat. It's a sensation, anachronistically, it's like being in an elevator. But you don't have any basis for this, so you're kind of fighting against the sensation, which you also feel, Berlinia. And you hear the controlled from the furnace, as Artis uses that to have a controlled descent. You look at Dunala, and his hair, more than it should be from the rate at which the ship is dropping, his hair is kind of rising up, and it takes on this almost serpent-like quality that seems to permeate his being, as he's made it no secret of his lineage. But you also notice, Vale, that wisps of hair like shadow are like going up into the air. And as Dunala suddenly holds out his hands, he's calling out to you, but no words are coming. And by this point, Berlinia, you would probably notice as well. And Ubo kind of just says, Brill, something is wrong with Dunala. And points. And you see Dunala take a staggering step forward. As he holds out his hands like to look at them, it looks like he's trailing away into shadowy smoke. And as this happens, his fingers and his hands and his arms appear to be disappearing. It looks as if Dunala is turning into a shadowy mist and being left behind as the ship begins to descend. How would you react to this?
Berlinia, in immediate panic, would run at him, Dunala, and try and grab onto whatever was still corporeal, his shoulders, and just looking at him. What's wrong? What's happening? What's going on?
Dunala looks at you with an almost, in a way you have not seen. Dunala has always been a person of confidence and swagger. A thing we like to call a Marquise-like personality that Dunala exudes. But what you see in his eyes is fear. As you try to grab him and your hands pass through him. And that act is the final act that seems to dissipate the last remnants of Dunala, as he seems to just vanish into the air and just disappear into the darkness as shadow. Vale, give me one more religion check.
That'd be a 12.
So that's enough for you to sort of piece. You make a general connection. You notice that the way in which Dunala has just vanished, you've seen Dunala cast spells. And Dunala has spoken of his magic where he pulls from the dreams of his enemies. And you've seen as he's drawn power of his spell by pulling dreams from enemies that appear in a black shadowy mist before manifesting into the spell. That is the manner in which Dunala has vanished. That same quality in which he pulls dream matter into being, and then they dissipate in the manifestation of a spell. But no spell is manifest. Dunala just appears to be gone.
I'll look at Brill and I'll say, I don't know what happened, but there's got to be a reason for it. I mean, he wouldn't just leave us. So I think if maybe we just take a breath or something, I think everything will be all right.
There was fear, real fear in his eyes.
Whatever reason it is, there's a good. There's got to be a good reason for it. I know something about magic, but I don't know too much about it.
Did he say anything to you? Anything that would explain this? You were the closest with him.
I know. No, I mean, well, he was saying something to me, but I couldn't understand. I couldn't hear him. I don't know if he was talking too quietly or what happened, but I don't know. We'll figure something out. He's got to come back.
Also, why here? And she kind of gestures to this where they're landing.
I don't know. I don't know. I just I didn't even know I was saying those things, but for so at least until I kind of snapped out of it, I was just surprised, right? And suddenly, we had to go down there. I don't know why, but
Are you? And she hesitates when she says this, and I think she would look to Ubo for help, confirmation. Are you sure you're talking with Ubtao?
well, yeah. I mean, who else would I be talking to? I mean, I'm not talking to Ubtao right now. I'm talking to you, but you know, I don't know. It just seems right.
Listen, the hag told Ubo about when you were gone. I can't think of it. You were here, but your mind wasn't. She said that there was something you were fighting with, something dark, and she's looking to Ubo for him to
Back me up, man. Back me up.
Vale, Berlinia's concern is not unwarranted. The hag, and Ubo says this, he always seems to say this with a bit of distaste, as his primary memories of them were being turned into a baby sea turtle. She spoke of you wrestling with a darkness. That there was a power that is Ubtao within you, but there was something else dark that even you may not know about.
And I don't mean any disrespect. I don't.
Brill. Hey. I'll put a hand on her shoulder. It's all right. No, hey, you concerned, right? I mean, if the roles were reversed and something else happened to you, yeah, I'd be concerned about you too. I'd want to talk to you about it. It's all right. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you about it. If there is something wrong, you know, we will just go ahead, nip it right in the butt, and we'll get it sorted. We'll get it sorted. I'm still almost positive that we have to go down to whatever that light is. It's important for something. I don't know what exactly, but it is important. And then we'll be making our way out to Omu. Sorry about that. Nachos are fighting back.
And you can actually sort of make out below, over the edge of the ship, that there are. No, I wasn't giving you permission to make out. You can make out over the edge of the ship that there is a glow near up above the jungle canopy, actually, not too far below you, as Artis calls down to you. We're nearly there, but I'm getting some incredible thermals that are fighting against and compromising the heat going into the airbag, and you can start to feel a little bit of turbulence in the airship. Looking down there, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to land this ship. You're going to have to... Well, I think you're going to have to rappel down. And the hags very quickly begin gathering up some rope along the port side of the ship, making sure it's fastened off to several of the parts of the railing. There's some anchor points to tie the rope off, and they throw a knotted rope over the port side. And Artis says, if you're going to go down there, I will do my best to keep the ship level for you. But whatever it is that's drawing you there, Vale, may Ubtao guide you, my friend.
May Ubtao guide you as well, Artis. All right, everyone. Guess we're gonna play down some rope, and I'll kind of hop onto one side and look down, because you're not supposed to ever look down. But
So you see that there is a you're looking at sort of a flat area covered in bushes and trees, small trees. There's some sort of a stone structure, and the entire area is illuminated by a large pyre of flame, like some sort of a signal. This close, it's making it difficult for you to see anything outside of that perimeter but darkness. So you can't even really get a gauge for what's in the immediate surroundings. It does seem that this platform is elevated a bit. But as Artis is struggling to kind of hold the ship steady, you can see the end of the rope sort of dragging through the dirt down below. And it's a knotted rope, so it's about every foot or two. About every foot or two, there are knots for handholds. So you're going to go over first, Vale?
oh yeah, paladins totally lead the way.
All right. So you head over the edge, begin climbing down with very little issue. Berlinia, are you going to wait till he's all the way down or till he's a little ways down to start?
I think Berliner would wait until he's all the way down.
Okay.
Wow. Say, well, we'll see if he survives. And if he survives, then maybe I'll do it too.
After a few minutes, you see Vale touch down. You see a small of dust as he touches down onto the surface. And the rope is clear. Ubo looks at you and he says, I will steady the rope for you, bro. And I will be down right after you.
Thank you. She looks to our December. Thank you for everything you've done. You really saved us.
Well, if need be, I will try to save you again. I'm going to try to keep the airship nearby, at least for a little while. You should be able to signal once you're ready. If I don't hear from you shortly, then I will assume you've decided to go on.
And Berlinia would begin climbing down the rope very shakily.
Excellent. And you're able to descend the rope. And you get about halfway down, and you can see Ubo is leaning over the edge. And he is watching for you to also reach the bottom. Vale, you're down on the surface that your eyes are kind of getting adjusted. And just as you're sort of getting used to and maybe just beginning to see beyond the edge of this surface you've landed on, you do notice that immediately behind you in a corner of this area is a structure that stands about 30 feet high that this pyre is coming from. And you hear a sudden, and the entire area suddenly illuminates brightly as something seems to have fed the fire to cause it to. And with that, a fresh thermal shoots up into the air towards the airship. The whole ship lurches hard. And I need a dexterity saving throw from Berlinia.
It's a 17.
You feel yourself whipped out into the open air with nothing but darkness. This illuminated platform in the pyre appear to be a lonely island in a sea of darkness, and you are suddenly very far away from it. You can feel as the ship lurches in a way that causes you to swing like a pendulum. And looking up as you grip the rope, you can see Ubo clinging to the edge of the railing. It looks as if he's been momentarily thrown over the edge, but he's able to have an arm hooked around the railing. You can hear shouts from up above. You hear Artis Simber shouting something, and you can't quite hear what it is as Ubo crawls aboard. And then the ship lurches suddenly again, and holding on to the rope, while you and the rope suddenly drop 20 feet. I need another dexterity saving throw as the rope jerks to a halt.
Quick question. I assume that I would have noticed this.
Yeah, you can totally see this happening above you.
Would I be able to help and try and steady the rope?
Yes.
Okay. But
and because this one is dropping, would you have done? You wouldn't have been able to. Well, actually, let's see. We'll roll the clock back about 6 seconds. Would you have grabbed at it when you saw it when the ship first lurched?
Well, I would have gone down, kind of scanned to make sure everything was okay, and then I'd probably would have looked up to make sure that Brill was coming down. Brill and Ubo were coming down safely. So I'm not sure, like, if it lurches like by that time, then maybe, or if I hear like if Berlinia makes any sort of noise when she's like in. So
you didn't quite, because you were looking around, you didn't quite see it in time to be able to grab it the first lurch. You do see Berlinia suddenly arc away into the darkness, and as the light flared up, you can see from your vantage point that the pyre you stand atop is about, well, it's at least a couple 100 feet tall, because you see more than 100 feet below you the highest treetops of the jungle canopy, illuminated in a sort of yellowish glow as this light flared. And Berlinia swings out over top of this, and she is now easily 250, 300 feet above the jungle floor. She doesn't know that. And then she swings back, and that's when you're able to come in and get hold of the rope and try to kind of belay it. So, Berlinia, you can make your dexterity check at advantage because Vale is stabilizing the rope, which, based on your expression, is probably good.
Yep, I got a nat one. So,
good
Lord.
Try
that again.
And it's a good point to remember the domain dice at this point.
No, I got a 7. So, but I think like all this whipping around, I think would be very difficult for her to hold on.
So as the ship lurches again, Vale, you watch in horror as Berlinia clings to the rope, and seems the rope begins to kind of coil around you as the whole thing drops suddenly 20 feet. And as it jerks to a stop, there's a sudden lurch of Berlinia, and the rope is jerked from her hand, and she begins to fall 30 feet towards you. Unless you have anything you can do, she's going to fall 30 feet to the ground in front of you.
I'm just going to shout at her, "Use your wings! Your magic wings!"
Do you think that I would be able to do that. It's an action.
30 feet is basically how far you can move in a 6-second turn. So I will allow it since Vale is yelling for you. And this is an innate ability that you have. I will allow it.
So she immediately, her face, her body begins to glow as she's free falling in this ethereal light. And these large forms of wings sprout from her back. And just before she hits, you can feel this huge burst of air as she pumps her wings and flies back up into the air.
Nice. So you kind of flare up about 10 feet before you hit the ground, and you're now hovering up above Vale. What are you going to do?
Can I see the balloon?
Yes. In the light coming from above, you look up, and you can see that the entire airship is listing hard to port. It looks like the rigging that was holding the balloon in place on the port side has broken. And the airship is basically, the balloon is now tethered only to the starboard side. And you can actually see as Ubo is straining with all of his muscles to hold. He's got his feet wrapped around the railing and he's holding on to the rigging. And he just looks at you with this look, this pleading look, and he shouts something, but you can't hear it. And the airship begins to ascend into the darkness. For now, you don't know Artis and Ubo and Dragonbait and the Hag's fate as they disappear into the darkness.
Berlinia knows that she wouldn't be able to get to them in time. She knows that her wings would fail her and that she would fall back down. So she returns to Vale. She lands. And the radiant energy around her fades. She's just back to normal. I think they'll be okay. I lost sight of them. I couldn't get there.
What happened? Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
I hold Berlinia. I just give her a hug to kind of calm her down. To be okay. It's gonna be okay. You forgetting you got them wings. Look at you. Oh, yeah. I was worried. I mean, I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I was a bit worried.
You can feel like just a bit of like just this stress and this just kind of subside a little bit. They'll be all right. There's our December and Ubo. They'll be okay.
So wait, what happened?
There was a huge thermal something from there, the light, and it just blew them up. And when I saw them, they were just hanging on by one side.
So Ubo stayed on.
He didn't have time to start climbing down the rope.
Well, he's a hero for helping him. And maybe we'll see him again. I hope.
We will. We will. And Dunala. We'll figure it out.
Oh yeah, no, he's good. I mean, he's maybe he just cast a spell that was really powerful for him. I don't know. But he'll be back. I'm sure it's only temporary.
You know I've never trusted him, but it's bad to see anyone with that amount of fear.
Oh yeah, no, I completely understand. Completely understand. I was a bit wary of all of you, when we first started this whole thing. I was.
Oh yes, a frightening lot, I'm sure we were.
Yeah. I mean, you were just a little bit too nice. Had this feeling there was, kind of something underlying, like you had an angle or something. And that's cool. That's totally fine with me. I just wasn't sure, We still standing on this like massive pillar of flame? Okay, just gonna throw this out there. We just like, kind of standing here like, hey, it's in like 1,200-degree fire.
So the fire is actually 30 feet above you.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So you are standing on a pinnacle of rock that stands about 40 feet square. It's more or less flat. The edges are crumbling away. It looks like it would be very unsafe to get too near the edge to peer over. Vines and low brush grow profusely all across the top. And as you're kind of looking around and taking a step, you realize that there are bones and even scraps of meat from small dinosaurs, small animals. Looks like a couple of humans or humanoids, some goblins, scattered all across the top of this thing. There is a crumbling stone tower that rises 30 feet above in the northern corner of this platform. And it is atop this that the roaring fire floats in the air. Tumbled debris from the tower is heaped all around its foundation. And there does appear to be an entrance into a doorway leading into this pinnacle, this tower that has fire at the top of it. And you can also see, actually, about 10 feet away from you, there is a hole in the ground about 5 feet in diameter that leads down into darkness. What would you like to do?
Is there a voice telling you what we should do now?
Well, actually, yeah, there is. It's saying, Vale, take Brill, bugger off. Go find someplace nice, sit down, maybe have a drink or two. And maybe not worry about like risking your lives and just let's just leave Chult to its own fate. But I don't listen to that one because I'm not a coward and neither are you. But other than that, no, there's nothing else I'm actually really hearing. I mean, I guess we could go down the dark hole into blackness. Surely nothing horrible has ever happened from people just wandering into some place they can't really see. No, not at all. Right, well, guess I'll
We could try that entrance, that instead of the deep dark hole.
You know what? Yeah. Let's go to this entrance thing. You know what? I like your idea better. See, I always knew you were leadership material, and I'm basically just talking as we're walking. See, I always knew you had it in you. See, you're the real leader behind this whole thing, not me or Ubo or even. And I kind of stopped for a second. The name just kind of gets caught in my throat. Or Cole. How you doing with Cole? I mean, we never really got to talk very much. I mean, so much stuff has happened.
It's a lot. I wish I had known. I wish I had known before she died.
Yeah.
I mean, I had heard about it before, but no one ever talked about it. No one ever said anything. I didn't even know.
I understand. I'm very sorry. I think we all took a passing hard. I really wish I had been faster. Or I play it in my head every so often, before we go to sleep. What could I have done? I don't know. I just feel really bad. I think probably by this point, I assume we're probably into the entrance.
So you see, as you get to the entrance here, remind me, Vale, you have dark vision? Do you also have dark vision, Berlinia?
Yes.
So you can see inside here because the light doesn't seem to be... You can hear it roaring far above. It doesn't seem to permeate into this area. This room, you can see, is about roughly 15 by 20 feet. There are crude pallets, like sleeping pallets, arranged all around in this room. And it has a strong foul scent that by now you are able to associate with the Terra folk. Just their wild nature. In the corner of the room, you see a single Terra folk. His large form hunched in the back corner. With your dark vision, his eyes appearing almost like pinpoints of light. And you can see a large ballista bolt piercing through his chest, blood leaking out of its body onto the floor. You see that there is a jagged scar starting just above its eye, curling down the side of its head, across its neck, all the way down its chest and across one partially shriveled wing. This appears to be one of the last of the Terrafolk that you fought not too long before. Possibly even the one that disappeared into the darkness. It clutches with one winged claw at the edge of this huge shaft of wood and barbed tip that was fired either by Ubo or by Dragonbait. As it sees you standing in the doorway, what would you like to do?
I mean, I suppose we could probably just finish it off.
It shouldn't suffer.
No. Come on. I'm going to call out to it. Do you understand us? Do you understand me?
Hold on, and I will check and see. I understand your words.
That was good, but I can definitely tell you probably don't want to do a protracted long conversation like that.
That's why he's dying.
Hyperventilate.
That's why he's dying.
You're like, no. All right. Well, look. Why don't? How about I help you? Yeah. If we help you.
No help. None.
So you don't want our help.
Kill.
Kill you.
He lunges towards you, but falters after just the briefest of movement. Fresh blood spilling from the wound. You can see nothing but hate in his eyes.
All right. I'll look at Brill. Kind of feel like a right bastard doing this, but
Just, and you can see that Berlinia has taken a few steps back. Yeah, you have to do it. You just do what you need to do.
all right. What would you say this thing's got? Like one HP?
Yeah, I mean, you don't even need to make a medicine check to know this thing is in really bad shape.
All right. I'll walk over to it. I'm assuming it's currently on the ground.
It's sort of hunched over, and when it lurched and tried to come at you, it sort of fell forward, but the shaft of the ballista bolt through its chest is kind of almost the only thing propping it up right now, which is also causing a lot of blood to leak out of it.
All right. Really kind of wanted to try and save this thing, but I think it's just going to be, I have a feeling if I try and save it, it's just going to come at us again.
Give me an insight check.
All right, sure. That's something I don't suck at. And oh my goodness. That nat 19 though, +4, so 23.
Though you have limited experience dealing with the Terrafolk, you can see something in its eyes. Something behind the pain. And it's not fear. It's abject hate. It's a wild appearance. You are almost 100% positive that if you did try to heal this thing, it would not hesitate to rip out your throat.
Fair. All right. I will. I'll pull up my rapier and I'm gonna actually just try and run it through, but very quickly. I want to end its suffering like that.
What's your armor class?
There's a question. My AC is 16.
As you step forward to run it through, and it's immobilized basically in this position, so I'm not going to make you try to hit it or anything. It takes a swipe at you with its other arm, but you deftly dodge, turning yourself perpendicular to its body and stepping inside of the arc of its swipe, driving your rapier through the other side of its chest, piercing its heart. It gives one final foamy blood coming around the corner of its mouth, and it slumps forward against the ballista bolt, dying. So now
I'll pull the rapier out really quick, clean off the blade, put it back in.
Berlinia would quickly go beside the Terrafolk and say a quick prayer. Can hardly hear the words as she's just quickly, ritualistically muttering them under her breath. She grips the Terra folks' forearms tightly when she does this, and then she eventually lets go, stands up.
So now you stand alone in this spire top, what looks, for all intents and purposes, to have been the sleeping area for some of the terrafolk, probably the very ones that attacked you. In addition to the dead body of this terrafolk, you can see the crude sort of nests, sleeping pallets, and 4 sort of moldy wooden looking chests. What would you like to do?
Should we look inside the chests?
I don't think it's a good idea. It's exactly what the dungeon master wants us to do. So
I laugh, you laugh, the chests laugh.
That's right. That's right. We all roll initiative. It was great. Yeah, I'll walk. I'll probably see. Well, we could have a look. I have a feeling though it might be these Terra folks' belongings, but it wouldn't hurt to have a look around, I guess.
Maybe they found something in here that's why you're here. It doesn't hurt to look.
Yeah. So I'll begin opening up some of the chests.
None of them even have locks on them. They're very crudely made chests. Very simple hinges. Trying to find something real quick. Okay, here we go. So yeah, you're able to very easily open up these chests and take a look inside. In one of the chests, it appears for a moment it's just filled with several hundred coins that you quickly realize are copper pieces. But all told, there are 2,000 copper pieces in this chest. The equivalent of 20 gold pieces worth of copper. The next chest contains, and somebody should be writing this down, 730 silver pieces, the equivalent of 73 gold pieces. The third chest has 4 gemstones of various colors. These easily look to be worth about 50 gold pieces each. And in the last chest, Vale, you find a bundle of burlap. No coins, no gems, just something wrapped in burlap.
All right. I'm gonna pull up my rapier and stab it repeatedly and see if it bleeds. No, I'm just kidding. I was actually looking to see whether or not Connor was gonna make
Magical energy flows through you and you explode. You've pierced the literal heart of Oobtao.
Yeah, sure. Sad trombone everywhere. I will very carefully lift it up and then place it down.
It has a bit of heft.
I've got a bit of strength. Just saying.
I mean, it's not too heavy, but it feels like there's something
in there, yeah.
It's not like wrapped up paper or anything like that.
Okay. I'm gonna very gently pick it up, place it down, and unwrap the burlap.
So the first thing you see is it is in fact wrapped up paper. The very first thing you see is a scroll and you see arcane runes written across it. Some sigils and sketches that seem to blend arcane runes with delicate filigreed vine work. And it is a spell scroll containing the spell Commune with Nature. But underneath this spell scroll, you see a carved wooden mask. It is stylized to appear as a tiger, but it has a sort of tribal look to it. Leather and metal straps and hinges allow it to be worn on the head, as masks are traditionally worn. Yeah, that's what you find.
All right, I'm going to examine the mask, this tiger mask.
Okay.
So I guess I need to roll an investigation check, or
give me an investigation check first.
Sure. Big money to win. All right, it was a 15.
The workmanship of this mask is incredible. It looks to be designed to fit on a humanoid face. It has holes for eyes and a hole for the mouth, but it appears to be a slightly Chultan stylized version of a tiger. And with that investigation check, you get the subtle sense that there is something arcane about it. In order to determine what magical properties this has, you will need to either cast an identify spell or spend an hour with it.
Well, let me just double check that on that. While I definitely do not have identify. And I don't have detect magic on. Darn. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep it.
All right, just gonna stow it.
I'll show Brill first. And I'll like jokingly, I'm not gonna put it on my face, but I'll just like hold it out in front of me, like, hey, look at this. I'm a tiger.
Do you hold it in front of you or like press it to your face?
No. I hold it in front of me. Nice try, champ.
All right.
Nice
I
try.
laugh. Mike laughs. The mask laughs.
Yeah, that's right. Mike's face gets chainsawed off. It's the usual.
Roll for initiative. Right. Okay. Any reaction, Brill, to the tiger mask?
She just laughs, but is also very worried. Just, put that away. Might not want to.
All right.
Put that on in a weird temple.
Jeremy Berger in the chat says, Vale, put that on ASAP. So, all right. Well, you've been in here long enough to have determined that this is the extent of this room. The smell is that of moldering nests, terrafolk guano, and a bit of burning smell from the fire high above.
I'd probably go in and probably like take some of the silver. Say we split it up. Take like the gems and whatnot. I'd leave the copper pieces because it's 20 bucks, but it's still a lot of weight. 2,000 pennies is not like light.
You don't want to take those to a Coinstar?
Well, it depends. Are we going to deal with weight? Like, are we dealing with?
I don't deal with encumbrance.
All right, screw it. We're taking it. 20 bucks is 20 bucks.
This is Skyrim rules. You can have 1,000,000 gold and still move around okay. But God forbid you pick up
Take
one
that
more
flower.
potion.
Yeah, you take that flower. That's it.
Put that flower down. You're encumbered.
So there's
right.
no other doors
Nope.
in here or
Well,
entrances?
no,
other
and
than
you kind of get the sense from what you saw of the outside area. This room is inside the base of this pinnacle of fire at the corner of a 40-foot square platform about 300 feet. Although Vale hasn't actually told you. So Vale, you know you're on a 40-foot platform about 300 feet above the jungle floor. So the only other exit is to either walk off the edge or go down the hole.
Right. Well, I mean, clearly there's nothing else in here. Don't even think we should bother even looking around. Should probably just go, I guess.
into the hole.
I mean,
Yeah, okay. All right. Sure, let's do that.
all right. Now, before we do though, and I'll admit, I'll look around. Yeah. All right. I'll look up. I'll look everywhere as one last kind of look around to make absolutely certain there's nothing here that's not nailed down that I can take.
All right. There is nothing nailed down that you can't take unless you want to harvest anything from the dead terrafolk.
No, it's just gross.
You do notice as you kind of look outside and kind of looking across the surface of this area that while you might assume that the fire was somehow kindled at the top of this pyre of this 30-foot tall pinnacle rising off the top of whatever tower you're on, you can actually see now that this massive ball of churning fire hovers about 5 feet above the tip of the stone. It appears to be magical in nature. But even now, from 30 feet above, you can feel the heat radiating off of it.
Yeah. That's just what the jungle needs. More heat. Strange. You know, here's something. You want to make a light and like have it shine all across Chult or wherever you want to do it. If you're going to do it in a warm place, why don't you just make it cold fire? I mean, I'm sure that there's some magical spell that could create fire and ooh and all that light and all that twinkling and bits and not have it be overly hot. You know? Anyway, don't mind me, I'm just rambling. So the hole, I'm gonna stick my head in it, and because even though it is dark, I'm gonna stick my head in it, and I'm gonna have a look with that yummy dark vision.
All right.
And I'm decapitated.
Give me a... Since you're deliberately looking, I'll let you choose perception or investigation.
It seems like cheating, but let's see. Yeah, I'll do perception. And that would be a 5. Unless I use a domain die. I mean,
You got 7 of them.
Really? Is there?
Do it.
Yeah, there's 7.
Do it. Do it. Do it. All right. Using a domain die. Oh, that's way better. That's a 17.
So you peer down. There's a good 18 inches or so of rock that this hole seems to be carved through. And as you kind of lean down into the hole, you can see that about 10 feet below, there's ground. And there is a dark cave. And actually just off to the north, as you're peering down in here, tucked into a corner of this cave, is an iron cage. You can see with your dark vision, this cage is maybe 3 foot by 3 foot at the base, maybe 4 feet high. And you can just make out some kind of scrunched up humanoid form. And even just after a moment, you can see the slight and actually hear the soft sort of of this form asleep in the cage.
What do you see down there?
There's nothing. I think we should just press on. I don't know. There's something down there. It's like sounds like a rusty, chainy sort of thing making some weird racket. I can only assume it's snoring, but who knows? I mean, it could be anything. Though, I think we should both head down. Maybe have a look.
This could be it. This could be what you were told to see.
I don't even know anymore. Like, it's just weird. Like, it's like everything goes fine. And I'm saying this as I'm climbing down, obviously, as we're both climbing down. You know, everything just appears fine. And then all of a sudden, I just get this, like, this flash, you know, like, you have to go and look at this, you know, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I get it, right? Like, Ubtao, jungle, it's all chaos and everything else. But I don't know. To me, there seems to be an order within.
In my experience, the gods aren't the most patient.
Right? Pains. I don't even know why we even put faith in them, to be perfectly honest.
They help.
True.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Well, what does your ill matter do?
He helps with the suffering of people. Make sure that there isn't too much, but everything is in balance.
Oh. I don't even know what Ubtao does, to be honest. I mean, I would assume that the law of the jungle and, you know, strong survive, and I don't know. But at the same time, I mean, I think with anything, like, it's good to work together, you know? And I think that's maybe what Ubtao's trying to get people to do. You know, we're stronger together.
Be quiet, please.
You hear a voice in the darkness.
You wake up the others.
What?
How far have we gotten down at this point?
It's only like a 10-foot drop.
Okay.
Yeah, we're probably literally just standing there like bullshitting.
And you can hear from where this cage is, you hear a sort of whispered voice.
Who's there? Who's there?
There is a whole bunch of those nasty, bad terrafolk, and one of us who are not a terrafolk. That is me. They are all sleeping. You must be very quiet. Please.
I'm gonna look around.
Vale, looking around, you can see much of what you saw sort of upside down, except now what you see inside the cage is technically it's a macaw, Connor. But you look in the cage and you can see a humanoid figure with wings sort of folded around their back, a very pronounced beak on their chest, bright plumage. Well, you can see a distinction of plumage, though it appears almost black and white in your dark vision. But you can get the sense of different colors. Yeah, this is also the first time Connor has seen the character art I chose for him. Anyway, continue.
Okay, so we do see a whole group of terrafolk
No,
sleeping.
no, you see this Birdman in a cage, despite all his rage.
Oh, you roll with disadvantage for the next 5 sessions, mister. Oh, gosh.
If only he were a were-rat. Then I would have gotten inspiration.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes.
Now, look at what terrafolk. There aren't any in here.
Yes, there are, you idiot. They're everywhere.
There was one.
You know, you can actually
I'll
see...
look up. I mean, I'll look up. I'll look around.
Vale and Berlinia, you can see that this Birdman is kind of tucked in the corner, just away from where you drop down, but that the cavern actually continues about 10 feet to the north and then cuts off to the west. As the Birdman is sort of pointing in that direction.
All right, Brill. Here's the plan. We're going to climb halfway up the ladder, and then we're going to yell really loud, and then we're going to run off and let this poor bastard get what's coming to him.
I can still
Kidding.
hear you.
I'm kidding. I'm not going to say it. All right, so I'll have a look at this cage and how I can try and unlock it. I'm going to whisper to him, I assume you want to be free, or do you want to just stay in this gilded cage, pretty Polly?
Yes, the bird wants to be free of its cage.
It's a great idea. Oh, goodness. All right, and I'll have a look, see how I can either pick this lock or, I don't know, do whatever it is that needs to be done.
So there seems to be a pretty standard iron lock cage keeping this cage closed. You tell me how you want to try to open it.
Give me a second here. I guess I will try and pick it. If it's a simple one, I mean, I might be able to.
Connor, you would know that the terrafolk that locked you in here did have a key that they locked it with, and that they took your belongings, all of your gear with them elsewhere in this cave system.
The key is somewhere else on some other body. You would have to pick it.
So, Vale, do you have a lockpick kick? Lockpick kit? Good Lord.
I'm sorry.
I have not been drinking.
I bet you wish you had. Yeah. He says into his Cabernet Sauvignon.
Lockpick kit. Good Lord.
To be fair, though, that is we also
it's a mouthful.
We also would have accepted. Do you have thieves' tools?
Yes.
So
of course. Rewind. Retcon. Vale, do you have thieves' tools?
No, I do not.
So how are you going to attempt to pick this lock?
I mean, feather. Actually, I was going to use my cutting wit. Failing that, I would look to have seen if there was like a bone shard or something from the previous occupant other than Molly the macaw. So see if there was like a bone shard I could maybe use to pick it. But since he had mentioned that, you can always stealth in. Mission Impossible it.
Berlinia, when Vale goes away to find a bone,
looking for a bone to pick with you?
Berlinia is just going to outstretch her hand towards the lock. She's going to try and flame it so that it softens. Maybe.
With
sacred flame. She's going to stand back.
Okay. How do you say your name, Connor? Is it just how it's spelled?
Eric.
I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
That is my favorite one. I got a natural one. Can I use the domain dice?
No, you have to be in at least 3 sessions to be able to.
So there's a total of 8.
All right, so using a domain die to save your parrot feathers, go ahead and re-roll that and take that roll.
Well, I rolled an 8, so that is a 15.
You as the very air around you begins to crackle with magical flame, you scrunch yourself as small as you can into the back of the cage as this fire rains down on the lock.
Is it noisy?
Does your sacred flame make noise, Berlinia?
Nothing over the din of the flame already atop.
Well, down here you can't even really hear the fire from above.
Oh. Then yes, it would make the ever so light.
The fire comes down and sort of illuminates the edge of the cage and the lock and the cave, but appears to have no effect on the lock. But it was a good idea.
I'll look over and say, "Look, I'll take care of it. I'll just crawl in there, nice and quiet, like. I'll borrow the key and hey, you, Molly, Polly, whatever. Did you say your kit was in there with them?"
I said no such thing, but yes, that is true. My belongings are with them.
Right, well, I'll just go in there, just grab it, nice and quietly, and then we'll be out of here nice and quickly.
I hope you are 10 times more stealthily than when you arrived.
Well, luckily for you, we're not really attached to you, so it doesn't matter if we get you out or not. I'll be right back. And I'm going to very quietly make my way into that area.
All right, roll me a stealth check.
See, now, that's good, because I've... this is why being the most unpaladin paladin is great. Because, you know, that heavy armor, though. Oh, very nice. That would be a 22. Ooh, that plus.
Is that with disadvantage? Are you wearing plate?
No, I'm wearing studded leather.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, I got what you were saying.
Yeah.
So you were able to move very quietly. You see that the cave cuts around to the west, and in just a few feet, there's an opening to the south into a small cavern, very small cavern, about maybe 15 feet by 10 feet. A very warm fire crackles in the middle of this cavern. The heat you can feel even from here. It's almost stifling hot in here. In the glow of the fire, asleep in their nests, you can see 4 elderly-looking terrafolk. In the corner of the room, illuminated by the fire, is a wooden chest, partially open, a pack, and just the hint of some sort of weapon, possibly this Birdman's gear. One of the elderly terrafolk has a crude rope around its neck, hanging from which is an iron key.
Okay. I'm going to go in quietly. I'm going to walk up to that terrafolk, and I'm going to draw a dagger and just cut the rope ever so gently. And, well, you thought I was going to kill it? No, I'm not going to do that. What sort of a monster you take me for? Actually, don't answer that. So I'm just going to, very gently cut the rope and then just kind of like pull the key off.
All right.
Ever so slightly.
Give me
sleight
a
of hand
stealth check.
Oh, stealth check first. Okay. Okay, that's a 19.
You shuffle through, or rather, don't shuffle. You almost glide like a shadow through this cave. Undetected. You make no sound. Your foot falls soft in the almost powdery like dirt of this cavern. You avoid, in the firelight, you can clearly see where there are bones and sticks scattered about, and you're able to avoid stepping on them as you make your way to the sleeping terrafolk with the key tied around its neck. Now, make a sleight of hand check.
17.
You deftly slide your blade, lifting the edge of the rope with the tip of the blade. You're able to grab hold, kind of create a sort of loop with your other hand, and just slit that rope, and the key comes loose in your hand.
Yeah, and I think the way I would do it is I'd like cut the rope, and then I would just very like kind of balance the key on the flat of the blade and just kind of pull it towards me, not even like trying to move the rope, just kind of letting it hang there. Then I'd just like kind of like grab the key and pocket it, and I'd kind of put the dagger, I'd sheathe the dagger.
All right. I need another stealth check. Oh wait, what are you going to do? If you're going to leave the room or make any other movements, I need a stealth check.
Yep, I'm going to grab his kit, or at least go over there to grab his kit.
Okay. So stealth check.
Yep. And that is a 15.
You are able to lift his gear out of the what kind of gear is in this chest?
Unfortunately, a bunch of heavy, jangly golden baubles.
Well,
I honestly don't know if you're being facetious or serious.
No, there's jingly, heavy golden baubles, a quiver of some finely crafted arrows, a cool-looking ornate silver and gold bow, and a plenty of knives.
Did you say and a plenty of knives?
A plenty of knives.
Is there a pack?
It's kind of all strapped together in some kind of weird, like, sash kind of gizmo. But I think that the Terrafolk probably have bundled it all in a heap of something.
So you can see that it's not a traditional pack veil. As you begin to reach for it, you realize it's just this.
I probably think it seems like some type of a harness, which thinking about, okay, this is a bird folk. He is Aarakocra. They would probably wear a harness and not wear a heavy pack. They would need to carry light because they are light. So kind of like when you're at a house party and you've all been drinking and you're like ready to like make the clutch play in a Jenga game, I would sit there and like try and like pick up and slowly fold and then fold and then fold again this harness until like I am pulling the whole thing out, including the bow, and just kind of holding it up close to my chest and basically just pivoting around on the balls of my feet slowly, and I would start to make my way out of the room.
So first I want a sleight of hand check to successfully lift this bundle of baubles from this box.
Suck. I swear to God, Connor, if you just screwed me, I'm gonna murder you if I live. Oh dear. Wait, did you say sleight of hand?
Yes.
Yep, that's a 9.
Domain dice.
Yeah, okay, sure. I'll domain. Sure, why not? Domain dice. Yeah, I'll be using.
That's why you've got them. Use them till they're gone.
I just feel crappy because I want you guys to use them too. I don't use them all. Anyway, okay. Well, that's a little bit better. That's a 16.
As you're lifting this bundle that you so carefully prepared and so quietly prepared, you lift it free, and there's this moment where you begin to pivot, and one of these unidentified golden baubles slips from the top and looks like it's about to drop on the ground, but it's tethered and it just swings silently as it goes. And you just catch your breath for a moment.
Yes,
Now you have.
I unclench my sphincter and I will begin to make my way.
Now you have to cross back across this cavern. Give me another stealth check.
Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not going to give you a stealth check because I'm casting a spell.
I hope it has a vocal component.
I'm not sure if it does, to be honest.
What is the spell?
Misty Step.
In fact, it only has a vocal component.
Oh, I can whisper it, can't I?
You can.
All right, I'm gonna whisper that as quietly as humanly possible. Well, okay. Well, hang on a second. Nah, you know what? I'll just stealth it. I'm gonna stealth very quietly.
Okay.
Yeah, just never mind. Yeah, it just seems like a bad idea. And I mean, I know you can like Misty Step through objects. So
well,
my goal was to like Misty Step right to where.
You know that based on the distance you traveled, you could Misty Step right back to where they are.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's not like I mean, I'm not going to make you be at risk of like Misty stepping into a wall. You've walked this path. You know what's there.
Okay, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Yep, I'm going to whisper it real quiet like.
And a moment later, Vale appears in a shroud of mist standing next to you, Berlinia. And before Eric holding this bundle that belongs to you, and you don't see this, but as you whisper this spell and just step forward, and one of the Terrafolk slightly awakened by your passing. You would also have noticed as you were moving towards this cavern, Vale, that in addition to the left turn that you took to go into the cavern, if you were to have continued straight, it opens out into the open air.
All right. I will. So wait, like I would have seen that?
Yes, you would have seen that. It was clearly visible as you kind of turned into this area here. In fact, you would have been able to see that there was what appeared to be the top of some sort of bamboo and vine ladder affixed to the top that descended down, providing further egress from this tower.
All right, I will. I'll let the other two know that very thing. I'll just look. You, here's your stuff.
Yes, my family jewels. Thank you very much.
Of course they are. Look, come on, just be quiet about it.
I am quieter than you.
I don't like him. I'm just gonna look at Brill. I don't like him. Do we have to keep him?
Just at least have to get him out of here.
Fine. So I'll go up and I'll ascend the ladder, up and out.
I think Bro would wait for.
What do you mean ascend the ladder?
Like climb up the ladder to get out.
There was no ladder that you guys came down. You dropped down through a hole.
Oh yeah, that's right. I don't know why I thought that was the ladder.
The ladder you saw was at the exit on the other side of the cavern that went down.
All right. I'll go to like expect the ladder and like, oh right, there was no fucking ladder. Okay.
Meanwhile, Eric is just like with like his foot outstretched. He's like got that key. He grabs it and he's like fidgeting with it in the lock, like using his prehensile feet, kind of like click or something. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't click, but I'm assuming a key clicks in a lock.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and then just like that groaning creak of rusty iron, just as a cage swings open, and he steps out in his full glory. You can see it's kind of in the low light, so the coloration is probably not that beautiful. But he's got just this ornate plumage that extends from head to toe, a long, sharp beak at his front. These just like these orbs instead of eyes, just these. You can't even see pupils with how dilated they are. And he stands probably a little bit taller than you, Vale, but not by much. But he can kind of like extend or like retract his legs, crouchy wise, to change his height whenever he wants to, because chicken legs. And he kind of reaches down, and after stretching and unfurling his massive wingspan, whoosh, a little bit of feathers kind of shake off from.
Barely
from
room
this.
to do so in this cavern. I imagine wings pressing against Brill and Vale for a moment.
Just swatting them to the side a little bit. And then, thank you for recovering my things. I am a man of an important family. If you come with me to take me home to my family, we have a great reward for that kind of thing,
Let's concentrate on getting out of here first. Yeah? See, Brill and I, we have a job to do.
Well, you see here, my sirs, there is an exit right there. Just past that way.
Yeah, well, there was an exit through where the Terrafolk are.
Yeah, that is the one I am referring to. I have seen many a Terrafolk come and go through that way.
Right, mon ami.
You speak my language.
Brill, do you think you'd be all right going through that way? Being nice and quiet like?
I will try my best, yeah.
All right. If you see any of them stir,
We'll take off, yes, we.
Yeah, or we kill them. Either way.
Eric, being in close proximity to your home, that the place that you are being held is a place known as Firefinger. That this is an ancient Chultan signal tower. You believe it to be the last remaining signal tower. Prior to the spell plague, there were many of these towers throughout Chult that were used between as signal fires between the various cities to pass signals through colored smoke during the day or colored flame at night. But it was an ancient thing, and however it survived, this is the only one, and that the Terrafolk had taken it over as a nest because of its high perch. So you have absolute certainty that you are nearly 300 feet in the air.
I know with absolute certainty that we are approximately 300 feet in the air.
I just gotta say, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I know I'm gonna inflate your ego, but I'm gonna give you a point of inspiration for that simple joke, and here's why. That is one of my favorite jokes in television and literature, when the narrator says something like that, and then the character immediately repeats what the narrator said. I will not grant inspiration for further exploitation of that joke, but I will give it to you this one time. It's like Pee Wee Herman's secret word of the day. You figured it out. Continue.
Now that I have my things, we can make our escape. Our escape. I find yourself muted, no?
Oh, look, let's just go through nice and quietly, all right? You've got everything strapped down. None of these gaudy things are going to be start clanging around like bells or nothing, are they?
And as you say that, you see that he's like affixed them in the proper harnessy way, and they just accentuate his plumage. Again, the light doesn't really catch upon it the proper way, so you can't really tell the full gloriousness of it. But like it rests upon like the folds of his wings and in the kind of the breasty areas of his plumage and all that stuff, and it fits like almost like a form-fitting like armor, but it's more like for show than anything else. We are good.
I'll look at Brill. We good?
Yeah. Get out of here.
All right. Would I have been able to see that doorway and ledge? I would have seen that when I first come in, right?
Yep.
All right. I'll start leading him through.
I need from each of you a stealth check as you pass by the cavern that contains the sleeping elderly terrafolk.
I got a 27 on my stealth.
Jesus, Billy.
Eric makes not a sound.
I got a 16. Berlinia is also going to ready hold person. You can see there's the ever so slight glow on her forearm.
Are you not at ease, mademoiselle? What is
that-
troubling you?
I rolled a 17.
Perhaps it's the mass of terrafolk who could wake up at any moment.
You are right. They do not make good conversation, no. They are a bad neighbor.
You all very quietly move. Stepping down a slight decline, you extend into the relatively cool feeling air, though it's still humid. After the stifling heat from this fire inside this cavern in this narrow space, you find yourself on a 5-foot but 15-foot long ledge that this bamboo and vine ladder descends down. You're now roughly, like I said, you're nearly 300 feet in the air. Eric, you know that with just a quick flap of your wings, you could disappear into the night and descend from this cavern. What would you like to do?
Now that we are able to talk a little more freely, in front of you I may present Eric, the son of the teacher of Kirsabal. You know?
You would immediately recognize the name Kir Sabal, for this was the very monastery that Artis Simber was taking you to via the airship, mentioning that there were, he had friends there, not least of which was a princess.
Well,
And
I'm
for
fine.
saving me from my shackles, my family owes you a debt. We the Eric Kokra of the Kirsabal, birds of honor.
right. Well, we're honored that you're honored. So there's lots of honoring. Why don't we just climb down and be on our way far away from this place? Will you say, bro?
Yes. And that's where we needed to go anyway.
Yeah, perfect. Pass the line as they always do.
Berlinia, you hear a voice in your head. You hear, Berlinia, we have crashed into the jungle. The airbag's guidelines have become detached. I was able to help keep... And then there's a pause. And then again you hear, the balloon attached to sheer strength and slow our descent. I will be with Artis and Dragonbait, and you hear a pause. I'm not saying that. Okay. The whores. Love. Ubo. The voice you would recognize as belonging to Mary Chultmas, one of the hags, casting the message spell over the course of a couple castings to deliver a message from Ubo. Basically letting you know that the balloon detached, they were able to kind of hold it together, but they've crashed somewhere in the jungle.
Would I be able to send anything back? Or
you can certainly try. I don't know that you would know that, but you can try.
Okay. All right.
Mechanically, yes, you can respond to the message spell. But I don't know that you inherently know that.
She did see Ubo have a conversation with.
Oh yeah, that's true. You did, yes. So you would know that you could respond to this.
Okay. She just, in her mind, if you can, we will meet you at Kirsabal. We have found someone who will take us there.
That is wonderful news. I find that I'm enjoying this ship and Artis and Dragonbait. If we can, we will meet you there.
Stay safe.
And you don't hear a reply back.
Mm-hmm. For the others, you would just see Berlinia stop suddenly for just a minute or two, just kind of standing, staring out. And then she blinks a few times, eyes coming back into focus. They're okay. The balloon. They're okay. They all made it.
Oh, good. Right, so where are we headed? Gonna go to the temple now. We're gonna meet them there.
Yes, they're going to try and meet us there. The balloon detached, but so they're way out. But I told them that we would be at Kirsabal, that we can meet them there.
All right. Well, let's go to Kirsabal then.
So that's one problem out of the way.
True. And I'll kind of look over at Eric. Is that right? Okay.
Close enough.
Come on. And I'll be like, look, I don't know about this one, Brill, but I guess we'll just keep an eye on him. I mean, we can say a lot of things. I could say that I'm king of the Dales, but doesn't mean someone's got to believe me. We'll see what this one has in store. If he turns out to be less than scrupulous, we'll do what we have to.
Berlinia just nods and continues on down.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
So it takes you several minutes, but you're able to descend first. About this ladder seems to go down a little ways and then reaches a ledge, and you have to move over and go down another ladder. You move down about 3 sets of ladders, descending 90 feet. And then you find yourself having to cut in to another short set of caves. Very quickly, you can determine that perhaps by their cool nature, nothing inhabits these caves. It's a narrow passageway that leads through to the other side. There's an open, empty cavern, and then you find another bamboo and vine ladder that you're able to descend down until you're about, probably at this point, let's see, probably about another 100 feet above the ground. But this one cuts into a cave, a cavern, and inside it opens up into a larger open space. There's some sort of ropey vines that dangle down into the cavern, into the darkness. Those of you with dark vision, I don't remember, do Aarakocra have dark vision? So you're kind of at a loss in here, as the other two of you can kind of see this. There's an area in the middle of this cavern that sort of bottoms out, and then you can just make out far below where it opens up into the relative brightness of the dark jungle beyond. What is, remind me, because I've lost the original sheet, what everybody's passive perception is.
Mine is a whopping 11.
Man, you don't see shit.
Mine is also 11. So I just as equally, if see even less shit.
And Eric has the bird of a hawk. I mean, the eyes of a hawk. And he has 18.
Did you see the bird of a hawk?
The bird of a hawk.
He has the bird of a hawk, which, if you could see, would be beneficial. But in the darkness, that drops to a 13. So you stand at the top of this ledge that drops down into the deeper cavern, Berlinian Vale, that you can see. What would you like to do?
There are many reasons why I do not like the caves of this place. I will not list them all for your comfort.
Well, I think that's more than enough of a good reason for us to carry on as quickly as possible.
I hope you found what you were supposed to find here. Maybe it was him. And Berlinia would nod over to Eric.
I don't know, maybe.
Vale, give me a religion check.
Sure. Oh, damn. That would be an 18.
You didn't notice it right away, but you notice now that when Berlinia says this, ever since you met up with Eric, the gnawing feeling of Ubtao guiding you has settled into a sort of peaceful feeling. Whatever it is that Ubtao was guiding you towards seems to somehow be tied to this birdman that stands before you now.
Someone sent for the birdman, Eric? Huh? I find that flattering.
No, you know what?
I don't think I was gone that long.
Maybe it was just maybe it's the bird. Maybe it was the tiger mask. Maybe Ubtao wanted me to find that tiger. Right? I really
You do not know what your master sent you for?
No, I really doubt that we're here for the overgrown, songbird,
Ah, yes, the great turkey, yes.
Yeah, the bipedal peacock, I really don't think that. Maybe the Ubtao has. There's more polite ways to clean your teeth. I mean, I'm just.
You
saying.
can all hear this sound echoing in the cavern around you.
Reason number 14.
And Vale and Berlinia, you can actually now see that something is moving in the darkness around you. 4 shapes. And as they sort of break apart from the walls, 2 of them are actually descending from above you, stopping in front of you, suspended on silky webs, as 2 more climb up the cavern as you see that
Done.
there are 4 giant wolf spiders maneuvering through this cavern and moving directly towards you. And that is where we are going to end tonight. We will begin the next session with rolling for initiative.
Oh, poor Megan. It was like, nope, I'm out. Nope.
I was really hoping one of them who was descending was Dunala. Just like, hello.
Oh, man. So, yeah, this was our return to Chult of Personality. One of our changes that you've noticed is that Ubo will no longer be a direct part of the campaign, but we are very happy to have the other half of Dice on Ice joining us, as Connor joins us as the Arakakra Eric, who
as the parrot in the corner. Yes.
thank you so much for fighting your urges and staying quiet through that first part, even though Mike very subtly tipped the hand that you were there in the shadows when he mentioned.
I thought everyone could see him already. That's why I'm
No.
like,
No, it was fine. It was fine. But yeah, so going forward, and the only reason, well, we'll find out what happened to Denala as he faded off into dream material, in part because Marquise couldn't be here, but also there's things happening in the jungles of Chult. So again, I want to thank everybody who stuck around for the audience. We had a few people that were here for the entirety of this broadcast, so we thank you for being a part of that. And of course, thank you to these 3 players who I'm going to give in a moment. I'm going to give an opportunity to introduce themselves again, and for the first time, Connor, and plug anything they want to plug. But I do want to say real quick, I'm going to try to keep it a little brief so we're not talking for 20 minutes. I want to say a huge thank you to the audience. We love the audience here at Mini Terrain Domain, and through things like Domain Dice, we try to include you in the campaign as much as we can. So be sure to follow Mini Terrain Domain on Twitch if that's where you're watching. Hit that little heart icon at the top and you'll follow. If you are a member of Amazon Prime, and you link your Twitch account, you get a free subscription every month. So you could consider using that to subscribe to Mini Terrain Domain. If not, we had Big Bearded Nerd in the chat earlier gifting out subs. Or you could sub and always be aware when we're going on air. Even if you follow, you get that too. Over on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. We are currently at just over 8,300 subscribers on YouTube. We are working towards that 10,000 subscriber goal, when we are going to do an awesome giveaway whenever that may happen. Once we hit 9,000, I will reveal what the giveaway is going to be. Another way that you can support Mini Terrain Domain, if you like what we do here, is head over to patreon.com/Mini Terrain Domain and become a patron. At the lowest level, you'll get a weekly blog and vlog, as well as access to the patron-only Discord. At higher levels, you'll get access to things like for unique one-shots and even module-based one-shots that I run, as well as crafting projects. You will get a PDF copy of my outline and notes for that session, or design notes for whatever I've decided to kind of cook up. And at higher levels, you can even participate in monthly hangouts through Zoom, or even possibly have early access opportunity to be a part of one-shots and mini campaigns in the future. So please at least just consider that. Head over there. There is a blog post up right now called This One is Free. That's freely available whether you are a patron or not. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night, Monday at 8:30 Eastern, to see Mike GMing the All That Glitters Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign that myself and Megan are players in, along with the Big Bearded Nerd, Dwight, and the Crafting Muse V. And on Thursday, tune in again for the Sunless Citadel mini campaign featuring the Sunless Citadel from Tales from the Yawning Portal, where I am DMing Megan along with Jeremy, V, and DM Scotty. That's all I got to say about myself. I'm going to start with Connor, our newest member of the campaign. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, who you're playing, any thoughts about the session tonight, plug what you want to plug, and then shut up.
I am Connor Davies. I am half of the YouTube channel known as Dice on Ice. The other half is somewhere on this overlay. I'm going to point to them eventually by rotating my hands around like this. The person I pointed to is the other half, and they have probably plugged it 1,000 times already. But anyways, our crowning achievement is this little wad of paper that you can use as a paperweight, as like fuel for your furnace, or even maybe as a light read when you're sitting on the loo. You should get it from this place called Drive to RPG. It sells books that maybe are your thing if you're watching this. If you're not into D&D stuff, I'm glad you're here. With that being said, I had a lot of fun playing as a bird person in the
You're cut out, Connor. Your always reliable microphone.
and I'm looking forward to seeing how they handle this giant turkey and the foul play that will ensue in their adventures.
Yeah, you should have stayed muted.
All right, with that, we're going to head over to the other half of Dice on Ice. Megan.
Hi, I am the other half of Dice on Ice. That's it. Hi, bye. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Had a really, really fun time playing, so really excited to see what Marquise brings into all of this, because he loves puns. And Connor likes making puns, so.
Like oil and water.
So this will be fun.
That ought to be good. All right. Mike, take us home.
No problem. I had a lot of fun playing today. It is always an absolute pleasure to play with Jake, with Megan, with Connor, three fabulous people. I'm very much looking forward to next week when Dunala comes back, meets Eric for the first time, and then fireballs him, which is great because I think we were running out of rations. So that's going to be exciting. What? You're a bird. You're like a big giant chicken. But I
have more splendor than one of your poultry. They are disgraced cousins. No,
it's all right. I'm sure you'll go great on a poutine. So anyway, like I said, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much to all of you that had come out. If you guys are able to tomorrow, after watching Jake just guzzle the last of his wine, come on down to Jake's channel again. Let's when we dive back into the world of Waterdeep with Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Really looking forward to all that glitters. Horrible things are about to befall them, and I'm really excited to see if I actually get that TPK in that I've always wanted to. That's not true. I've already done one TPK, so I just want to see if I can do it again, but this time in a campaign setting. So anyway, thank you again. It's because of all the great people that watch shows like this that we, can keep bringing you the entertainment, or else we would just be talking to ourselves, and that's weird. Kind of.
Well, thank you as always to Mike, Megan, and now Connor for being a part of this. It's awesome to be able to just play D&D together through the magic of the internet. I do want to encourage you to check out the All That Glitters campaign because I get to play in it instead of being a DM. I don't play very often, but I love playing, and I am playing 6 days until summer, the Tabaxi bard, who is more than just an asshole cat who likes to knock drinks into the yawning portal. And it's fun. It's a great group, and I love playing in a Mike the Piper game. So be sure to tune in for that. Stay tuned to the channel and follow everybody on Twitter. Their Twitter handles are listed here. And if you stay tuned to @MTD_Jake on Twitter, in the not too distant future, we are going to be announcing some very awesome things coming forth in the next few months on the channel and beyond. So with that, we are going to end the stream the way we end every week. Join in with me if you want with a big old metadata.